What's up guys, welcome back in this course, and in this class we are going to study about the tuples. Like, what are tuples? So tuples are immutable version of lists. So which means that they are similar to list but they are immutable. So we have already learned or studied the concept of mutability. So mutability means that so we can change or modify any sequence like lists or anything else. So tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable, right? Like we did in list, we are storing multiple items of different data types in a single list. They are quite similar to the list. Tuple is one of 4 built-in data types in Python and used to store collection of data. So we already knew that all the sequences like list or string or tuples, they all used to store the collections of data in them. Number 4 point is tuple items are indexed. The first item has the index 0 and the second item has the index 1. So we have already studied and understand the concept of index for all the sequence, strings, lists and tuples. So what is unchangeable? So tuples are unchangeable, which means that they are immutable, and meaning that we cannot change, add or remove item from the tuple has been created or declared. So which means that as we did in our previous class, we modified the list by inserting, adding or deleting the items from the list. But in case of tuples, we cannot perform all these functions. So now let's move on and learn something more about tuples. So there are very few built-in functions or in fact no built-in functions for tuples in Python, because we cannot insert or append or remove items from the tuple. So all these functions were only for lists. CMP is used to compare the CMP tuple 1 tuple 2. So CMP stands for compare. So it compares the element of 2 or more than 2 tuples and length. It gives the total length of a tuple. Max, it returns item from the tuple with maximum value. And min, same, it returns the item from the tuple with a minimum value. And the most interesting thing about the tuple and the list is that we can convert between list and tuple by using these methods. So if you remember that in previous class of typecasting, we learned that how we can typecast different data types. Like we learned that how we can typecast or change integer into float and float into string and string into integer. So in the same way, we can change the tuple into list and list into tuple. So this concept is somehow similar to the typecasting. So let's jump into our code editor and see how tuple works. Okay guys, welcome back, and now I am in my Python shell, and first of all I'm going to show you that how we can easily declare a tuple or create a tuple. So I'm taking a variable which is t1, and in this case I'm using just parentheses. So in case of tuple we use parentheses, in case of string we use double quotes or single quotes, and in case of list we use the square brackets. So I'm declaring something like apple and BANA banana, and then cherry, and grapes. So okay guys, so this is how we can create a tuple. So now we are just going to perform some built-in functions. Like there was a function called as compare. So for that we have to create another tuple which is t2, and in here we are going to put some other items. So car, okay guys, so we have right now 2 tuples, and I'm going to compare these 2 tuples and see what is their result. So print, and I'm using that built-in function cmp, and then t1 comma t2. These are our 2 tuples. So it is giving us the name error. CMP is not defined, but we have studied there like CMP tuple 1 tuple 2 compares the both of the tuples. So it means that there is some issue here. It is not working with this keyword CMP. So let's try some other function which is like print, and try the length function len, and check the length of t1, right? So its length is 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so which means that it is containing 4 items. And then we have another built-in function which was max and min value. I think for that we have to create a tuple with some integers in it, but right now I'm going to check that function on strings as well. So like print and use here the max function, and I think it will give the word with maximum spelling maybe. And t1 grapes, grapes, it has 6 spellings, while the banana has also 6, and cherry has also 6, and apple has 5. So why it has given grapes the greatest one, maximum? I don't know what is the concept behind it. And now let's check for the minimum. Just copy it and see what is the minimum value here. So min. So apple is the minimum value for sure. So I think it has confused in between banana, cherry and grape. So that's why it chose only grapes. Okay, now we are going to try the last example, which means that I'm going to convert the list into tuple and the tuple into list. So for that I'm taking a list L1 and just putting here some different values like 100, 24 and some apple and 3.1411. okay, so what I'm going to do here, so I'm taking a variable which is li and want to convert this t2 into a list. So list and t2, so print it is changed into a list. As you can see here, our tuple is converted into a list. Now change the list into tuple. So tu, taking another variable, and then tuple tuple, and passing here the list L1. And then now print, and put here tu. So you can see that our list is successfully converted into a tuple. So this is how we can use tuple in Python, and there are a lot of other functions of tuple in professional programming. So these are the basic use of tuple that I can show you. I hope you will practice and try all the other functions by yourself. So see you in the next lecture.